Hey everyone, welcome to the show, my so-called fabulous. I'm Tiffany. Welcome back, and let me tell you, you tell me often you need to be motivated. I need to be motivated. I need a motivational coach. I need a personal coach. And I've often wondered, when is the perfect time to do this? Well, I have the person here today, and oh my gosh, I am so blessed. Dr. Robin Carson. She is my dear friend and an advocate of my so-called fabulous. She said, you need to know this woman. And I should, because I think we have so many mutual friends. But Ashley Baker, personal development coach, public motivational speaker. Did you see those two words I was talking to you about? She's here. Welcome to the show.
I am so excited. In fact, you just inspired me. Maybe you can be my motivational coach. Listen,
that would,
honey. Well, here, every coach, we need a coach as well. And I think sometimes when people think of a personal development coach or a life coach, that means that you think we have it all figured out. But guess what? We actually don't. But what we do have figured out is how to do the work to make ourselves better.
Yeah. You know what, Ashley?
Tell me.
People say that all the time. So they will say things like, oh gosh, I need help, but you are okay, I'm a chef. I'm a chef by trade.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't cook 24/7. Sometimes I need inspiration as well, just 100%. Like you're saying.
Right.
And, what do they say on the airlines? Do they say that anymore? Because we don't listen, I think.
Right.
But if the oxygen mask, you need to put it on yourself first,
you
put it on your child, which seems counterintuitive.
Right, right.
Welcome to the show. And I am so, you know what? We do have some parallels in our life.
We absolutely do.
We both live in Fort Worth.
We do.
We both are from that fitness world. We were Les Mills girls.
Yes, we were. You know what? I love that. It was one of my teaching Les Mills and being a part of that community was my first taste and glimpse of not only the love of fitness, but of connection.
Yeah.
Because when you are a coach, and you know this because look at what you're doing now, ultimately, it's about connecting with the people that are coming into your classroom.
Right.
And of course, we love the workout, obviously. We love the music. We love the moves. But for me, it ended up being about my connection with the people that were walking in the doors.
Right. Yeah. And if you're not familiar with Les Mills, it was, you can help me. I was Body Attack, Body Flow, Pump, and the cycling one. That's a form of exercise.
Yeah,
that
RPM.
Yes.
RPM.
Years and years ago in my former life, but still into fitness. But there was a time we had to let it go. And you and I both had injuries. And yep.
Because I was a national and trainer and presenter for Les Mills. So I got to certify the instructors for Body Attack. And again, what I loved about that, and we can talk about that when we get into how I got here, right? But I loved that it was the 2-day training and it was beyond the moves and I got to get into their psyche a little bit. Mm-hmm. And anyway, and that's where I truly fell in love with the program. But back to the injury. Yes, injury took me out. Stress fracture after stress fracture.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Okay, I have to ask you.
Yes.
In many times in my life, and we'll hit on this as well, but many times in my life, I'm like, I just need a personal development coach. Right. I need that person. And I think you and I touched on it when we chatted last week.
Right.
It was more of an accountability, like holding me accountable. 100%. Right. So how did you get into this?
It's a great question. And what I'm going to tell you, and you'll see how it became just such a natural progression of the next thing for me to do. So without getting in too much detail, just to kind of give you the highlight reel, started off as an educator. My first job out of college was a fire and life safety educator for a fire department. Denton Fire Department, one of my most fun jobs I've ever had, which then I moved and got a secondary degree in education and taught 3rd grade and 1st grade, and then got married and had kids and did the stay-at-home mom thing for a second. I was like, no. It's not for me.
Right.
And I have a dance background. I was a ballet dancer for like 18 years. And so somebody dared me to teach a fitness class. And that got me into Body Pump.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Body Attack.
Right.
Fitness world, injury took me out. And that took me into yoga.
Right.
Yeah. So I got really deep into teaching yoga and the certification process to become a yoga teacher. If depends on where you go to get certified. Mine was actually with a man named Baron Baptiste.
Yep.
The training system for him, I went to a week-long level 1 and then another week-long level 2. And those are all about breaking you down and teaching you what it means to be present. You can walk into a yoga class and you can hear the rote speech of instructors saying, okay, I want you to be present. But when you go through this certification process, I think the beauty of what Barron teaches you is how to really become true and authentic to yourself. So he breaks us down mentally to deal with our traumas and our past so we can truly know and understand what it means to be present and in the present moment. So he broke us down to break us through. Make sense?
Yeah.
So when we say be present, we know what we're talking about because we did the work to get there. Okay, anyway, so that led to teaching here in town for Indigo Yoga for a while.
Right.
And then 10 years at Pine Street Drug and Alcohol Rehab Center here in Fort Worth.
Wow.
It's called Pine Street, right off the street. That's my favorite type of human.
Really?
Yeah, because I think in general, just my existence on the planet is to see in people what they can't see for themselves. And I think we're all way more alike than we are different. So when I look at people, I truly look at them right here and their stories, our stories are different, but our humanity is the same. So anyway, I love that work.
And that was a recovery.
Right.
Okay.
Drug and alcohol rehab.
Wow.
Yeah, right down the street, right off
down the
Lancaster.
street. I mean,
near Union Gospel Mission.
There you go.
Yeah.
Touching that type of life.
Right.
And having the capability to do that is incredible because, not everyone can do that.
It is, and
It's a gift. It is a gift. I promise you.
I feel like it could be. I don't think that it makes me that much special. I feel like God gives you what you can handle. And I feel like he gave in me the power to see in people what they can't see for themselves. And so every time I walked into that door, I was just like, God, give it to me. What do you want me to say? I don't know how, definitely a religious Christian person, but my relationship is very relational. And when I go in there, honestly, I just see myself in them. I think we're all a little bit broken in somehow.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Ultimately for them too, and for anybody, people just want to be seen. Even in relationships, we can go in that too. If you just to feel seen and valued for who you are.
Right.
And anyway, it's beautiful work, and it was beautiful work, and I was so grateful to be a part of it.
Oh. Yeah.
But after Pine Street led me into getting certified as a holistic health coach through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. So you're looking at the whole person, right? So I've taught all these exercise classes. I've understood how much I loved and valued connection. Okay, I love, people when you're in the fitness industry, as you're a chef, everybody comes to you, health, fitness, all of that stuff. So it was just a beautiful culmination of everything I had been educating myself on up to that point. So where are you in your life, with your family? The whole circle of life is the wheel that we use to base our coaching from in that world. And then I, just furthering my education with Zig Ziglar as a Choose to Win coach.
Yeah.
So just filling myself with that knowledge, and then knew it just felt like the natural, connectable way for me to be with people.
Right.
Right.
Do you think when you were teaching yoga to recovery, to people in recovery, that was a pivotal time when you had that possible aha moment?
100%.
This is where you should be.
Oh, yeah.
And that was accident too,
Yeah. Exercise was the gateway for me to be able to get to people. But ultimately, I knew I was always a teacher. Does that make, that makes sense? So I was able to connect. So every message I was talking about, it became beyond the moves for me and more about the speak. Right. I could teach yoga, I could teach exercise all day long, but it was what I was teaching them through yoga was the general life messages. Like, for instance, you put people, I don't know if you know what a warrior one is, right? You're holding a warrior one, you're deep in that front knee bend, and it starts to hurt, so you make them stay, right? So I would sit there and tell them, okay, I know this hurts. Or do you feel it in your leg? Yeah. Tighten up your, tighten up your back leg. Reach up through your fingertips. Reach up through your arms. Engage your core. Stay through the hurt. When in general, I'm connecting that in life too. What do you do when things get hard? Do you get out or do you stay? Yeah.
Right.
Same thing.
It is the gateway.
See?
It is the gateway. So how does a person know they need a coach? I mean, are they,
It's
use the
a
word
great question.
broken. But
I feel like coaches are everywhere. And I feel like we are inundated with, there's marriage coaches, there's business coach, money coach, which I want to respect all those realms. Like, I do believe that people find their way and their gift and their capacity. I'm going to tell you how I explain the difference between a therapist and a life coach, or I hate saying life coach, but personal development coach. Hate's a strong word. I dislike that word. I feel like a therapist and a counselor is so absolutely necessary, especially in the climate we're living in, with so many people's mental health being at the forefront of so many things that you hear about, and with our children. That's another topic.
That is
Tiffany.
another topic and podcast.
But a counselor takes you from broken to baseline, processing through your traumas, how you got to where you are and your reactivities of things and where you've been, does the deep work. And a coach takes you from baseline to thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually, I've had so many coaches and therapists in my almost 200 episodes.
Sure.
That's exactly the definition per se, or that's you dig deep and then you go beyond, right? For the coaching.
And I really feel like I like to say action-based, and I've said it before. I mean, like, we can read all the inspirational stuff. You can post stuff on your Instagram all day long. You can scroll through and be like, oh my God, screenshot, love this. I love this quote. But are you living it? Are you doing it? Are you putting it into action the moment that you need to have it work for you? You know?
Oh, yeah.
And again, I to be truly authentic with you right now, like, I'm walking through something very tough in my life right now. So I feel like everything that I've ever coached people through my life is hitting me in the face right now. So it's going to be real interesting to see how I swim through this time of my life, because I have been called to step into this authentic place. And will I do it? Will I face fear in will I face fear head on and do what it is that my soul's telling me to do? So that'll be an interesting thing to see. But everything I've ever taught everybody is coming right at me. So when I tell you coaches need coaches, of course they do. You've got to always be in growth and transition, and a yoga word, always be in the flow, right? Because everything's going to be like this. But I think what makes me a powerful coach, as I get out there and start motivating people and want to be a part of everybody's lives and in their face, is because I've been swimming through stuff, because I've been in the thick of the molasses of something hard. And I've chose to, my favorite quote is, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. And right now, like for me personally, I'm like down in the water, but I'm reaching up for that surfboard because I know I need to. Right?
Right. Y'all, let me interrupt the show for just a minute to introduce you to one of my new favorite products. Following my breast explant surgery, I discovered ASEA and have been using Renew 28 ever since. Seriously, I'm not sure how I ever lived without this product. The fabulous gel has helped fluff my breasts post-surgery, reduce the crepiness on my arms, tighten and smooth my face, and help heal a nasty scar on my daughter's foot. I'm serious, it's so fabulous. This will continue to be a staple in my home for sure. You will just love the youthful appearance it provides and the hydrated, smooth way your skin will feel. I love all the ASEA products I've tried, and I'm sure you will too. Learn more and shop at shopasea.com/Tiffany Blackmon. And again, that's shopasea.com/Tiffany Blackmon, or click the link in the show notes. You in your life,
yes,
like so many of our audience is listening to this right now. You're in warrior pose right now.
100%
in your life. Okay. And you're starting to feel the pain.
I am.
Is that right?
100%.
Okay. You're feeling the pain.
Yes.
Does Ashley Baker reach out for a therapist?
100%. I was with a therapist.
You heard it right here, everyone, because that's a big woman to accept.
Oh, I can't not be with a therapist.
Right.
Especially right now. But actually all the time. And I'm not scared to tell you, my therapist, Lee Long at Restoration Counseling, has been with me because I've always dealt with anxiety. And anxiety, I think we're all given a thorn. And my thorn has always been anxiety, dealing with that genetic code within me. And so he's taught me how to deal with it, how to have tools of managing it. And that's how, as a coach, I love to coach people through that, because I know what it feels like. And how can I coach you in something I don't know? It's something that I don't know, have any connection with.
Right.
So that's a big one for me.
That's a big one.
Yes.
And working through the pain.
Yes.
Of course.
100%.
And I think honestly, when I decided to do this podcast almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't really easy to tell everyone all the crap that's happened in my life.
Right.
But those women and those men that came to me and said, I just thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one with a dry vagina. I
Right.
thought I was the only one at this age. You know what I mean?
That.
I mean,
Good, great.
you know what I mean? Like, I thought I was like,
Yes.
thank you for finally talking about this
Yeah.
and where to get help.
Yeah.
Or to know that I'm not alone. And I bet you are feeling that with your clients and the people you speak to.
And
you're not alone.
Oh, 100%. But that's Brene Brown, right? Brene Brown did the studies. Brene Brown says that all the connectability is through our vulnerability. And it's absolutely true. But anybody that knows me or claims to know me at all knows that I've never had any problem with being completely vulnerable and transparent. And I believe that's like my superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might make people uncomfortable, but it's exactly who I am and who I claim to be. And that is, anyway, but anybody that knows me, that is what I believe everybody's strength is their vulnerability and the power in their story, or they're overcoming something. And it's interesting, me swimming through this, I think someone's bird's eye view of my life would be like, oh, like what could Ashley have to be unhappy about? She's got a beautiful home, fantastic children. What could she have to complain about?
For sure.
And I think anybody that makes a statement like that does not understand emotional intelligence or just the human condition. Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
Because it does. And something I tell people all the time, and it's taken several years, because on Instagram, we don't look like that every day.
Right.
We don't. And our life is not as it is in a photograph.
Yeah.
You and I don't look like this every day at all. And it's that.
What do you mean? Yes, we do.
You do. I certainly don't.
No, of course I don't, Tiffany.
So, just that, honestly, the transparency, as you just suggested, is so incredibly important. And I don't think if people didn't think you weren't real,
right,
why would they come in to your practice? You know what I mean?
But I think because what I could talk to you so much is about self-awareness and everything we're doing, and actually self-love, which has become a big topic. My son and I have just started this podcast, Fitting Out, when to let go and let your kids be who they are. Mm-hmm. But it's really, and I've been recently, a lot of my talks have been to girls in middle school and high school dealing with self-love problems and kindness and being kind to each other. But if I had to get down to the bottom line of it, and especially talking about you and the podcast you've started and people wanting to connect to your vulnerability and everything that you're putting out in the universe to educate everyone, but self-love and self-awareness of all these things are so huge. And I'm not talking about, remember, we kind of talked about this. We're talking, I'm not talking about self-love and self-care in the sense of like, take a bubble bath and go get a massage. Fantastic things to do.
That's fabulous.
I'm not saying that I think it's wonderful, but I'm also like, I encourage women, men, everyone to take the time to take a deep dive inside and really kind of start to listen to your inner voice and inner whisperings of things that maybe you're not paying attention to, if you're not feeling
right,
if you're feeling like something's missing in your life or something's not right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said that the other day. We were on the phone the other day, and you said that because I do see a lot of my people that I know, and I call people my friends. I just know them on the internet, but we talk all the time.
But they're connected to you.
This self-care, take care of yourself, self-care, and they're going to get a massage or getting a wax or whatever, and that is fabulous. But are you really digging in on your relationships?
Yep.
Are you digging in on being self-aware? What is wrong with people? Self-awareness.
Because self-awareness can be very scary. And not many people are open for change, whereas I am open for change, right? And I know it's scary as hell for you to really unlock and see some truths, and maybe even just don't even have just have so much fear and actually maybe facing some truths about yourself that you don't want to see or deal with.
Ashley, because my demographic for my audience is from 18 to 58, 59, 62, whatever. Good Lord.
Right.
I know when children, you have a senior in high school and you have a sophomore in college.
I do.
Okay, 2 boys. I have a 25-year-old daughter. The frontal lobe
Not right.
That's not what we're talking about here and
Right.
what I'm trying to get to here. The frontal lobe is not developed in our children. I mean,
Right.
But do you think women in their 20s and their 30s, and then let's just bracket it up back, do it in sets of 10 age range. Do you think as we get older, the self-awareness gets more aware? I'm trying to spit this out. Because I see people in their 30s that are so mature and so self-aware, and see people older than myself that just have no clue.
Well, that's because of technology and the level of awareness that these children, and even my 20-year-old son, are almost 20, have been fed a whole different level of information that we didn't have access to when we were their age. Because what my son's self-awareness, I mean, the things we talk about blow my mind. And I do know his brain is not even fully developed to even understand those concepts yet. Because I know when I'm with junior high children and I'm telling them to be kind, why can't they be kind in the moment? They all know what it means, but they're still bullies. And I think we're going to have bullies forever. But again, that's another topic.
At every age.
At every age.
Yeah.
At every age.
Every
Absolutely
age.
correct.
At every age.
That's a whole, again, there's women.
You're coming back this season, by the way.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to, because we're going to talk about that. And women and their lack of self-love and awareness to see, now I'm like ADDing out, but like being able to stand up for someone in a room that's not there to defend themselves. And I think women our age can still be guilty of that. And it absolutely wrecks my soul. And again, that's a self-confidence thing. That is an insecurity thing. And I have plenty of examples where I can tell you where, I've been able to stand up for somebody in a room of people that didn't agree with what I was saying.
Right.
And that just takes, again, self-confidence and
it does.
believing in what you're saying.
Oh, and
God, did I even answer the question you were having earlier? I don't know.
We're getting the point across.
Okay,
you know what? I'm gonna tell everybody that's listening to me right now.
Yeah.
If someone gives you a compliment to me and I don't tell you, that's a girl crime. If someone says, "Oh my gosh, Ashley looks so great. I mean, she just does such a great job," and I don't tell you, like if I don't share with you, I think that's a girl crime. I really do. And I know, you're looking at me like I'm crazy. But
no, I'm not looking at you like you're crazy. I think that's like a really beautiful thing for
you know
you
what
to
I
say.
mean? Like, seriously, and if I see you next week in Walgreens, I'm just going to say, Ashley, you didn't know it, but the front desk girl here at the podcast studio said you were on your game.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are confident enough to say that.
Yeah.
I don't think that they love theirself enough to share the love of someone else. Does that make sense?
But that's the definition of self-love. So that tells me you love yourself so much that you understand and want other people to feel the same.
Well,
So
out of there, pass it on.
Yeah. You and I both, Tiffany.
Years and a lot of money here.
That's why you do what you do. That's why you have my so-called fabulous. You're sharing and gifting information to people. So you need to, yeah, it's a beautiful thing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I think you sharing on this podcast, your world's not perfect. My world's not perfect at all.
Not.
It's such a gift to so many. So, okay, I'm going to talk about this because
Tell me.
People get burnt out.
Okay. Ooh, burnout.
Okay. Now, Ashley,
Yes.
I'm not talking just about, I've dealt with it with employees.
Sure.
I had burnout before the pandemic hit. We're doing, and this sounds such like a brat, I was doing television and radio. It was a dream career, but I just going to the station every morning at 3:30. It was a tough thing, but it was a great career. But this career I love, and so burnout,
right?
Not just with careers, with relationships, with children.
Oh yeah.
So talk about burnout and how you coach people to get past it, because I think you just did something for Keller ISD. Didn't you talk to the teachers?
Yes, I talked to that, which I love to do. It was not only motivational speaking for the Keller ISD, and I actually have a great relationship locally with Bumblebee Yoga, which is a yoga facility here. And there I have starting a whole team on doing outreach teaching with these types of topics. And was lucky enough to go to Keller ISD and talk to them about burnout and motivating them for this year, because you and I both know as a teacher, previous teachers, how hard it can be, and how could you not get burned out when you're giving so much of self. And I think a lot of burnout also comes too. You got to make sure you're surrounding yourself with a great culture, good leadership, so you are being seen and you're being valued.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of that comes from not feeling like someone is seeing and valuing the work that you're doing. And part of my work with the Baker firm, the title company, was creating a culture to where that they felt that. Because in that business, it's so hard and they're working their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
And they just needed every now and then somebody to tell them, just like a kid, God, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
God, we appreciate you being here. And I think burnout can stem from a lack of appreciation. And I think that is a huge issue for many companies and why people are trying to shift their companies and cultures to be one that is valuing their employees so they don't feel that and they want to be a part of it. But also remember, no one loves, do you remember the Sunday doldrums before you went to teach?
Yep.
Everybody gets the Sundays. And I remember that from my previous life of having to get up and go to work like that. And it's a choice that you have to make. Every day is a choice when you wake up. How am I going to be today? How am I going to function today? It's real easy to be negative. Negative is easy. You know what I tell people? Don't be basic, because it's so easy to be negative. That's how people connect. We connect with our negativity. You and I use this example all the time because I do it all the time, Tiffany, and it irritates me to death, but I'm self-aware that I'm doing it.
Right.
It's just like when we look at ourselves in the mirror.
Yep.
How easy is it for be like, God, I'm old, look at my neck.
We did it when we walked
all
in.
the time. Yeah. Even with dear friends, I'll walk in and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I look so gross today.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to stop that. We've all got to stop that.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, back to burnout. It is a choice that you make when you get up to go. And I think you also need to do a deep dive on what it is that you're doing in your job. But we can't be naive, too, touching on there are employees out there working their asses off because they have to. And these are the only jobs they can get. Mm-hmm. Maybe the only ones they are qualified to get. But I'll tell you what, I have seen some of the most joyful people, middle-aged and older, working at McDonald's or even a company like Chick-fil-A they know they're in the service industry and they walk in that door or they look at you and they're serving you, with as happy as they can be or so far as I can see.
Right.
But I think you need to really look and see, is this job something I really love? Am I giving up on something that else I could be doing for fear that maybe I'm going to fail? Mm-hmm. But you can either live in that misery of that burnout of this job that really might not truly be serving you.
Right.
Or you can choose to do the work and be like, hey, maybe I need to rethink this. Or maybe I need to talk to my boss or my manager and let them know how I'm feeling.
Right.
Because I'm not feeling it right now.
Right.
So quit being basic and living in your negativity and going to the cubicles and talking to everybody how upset you are. Instead of doing that, and then do something about it. And that's what I tried to teach them at Baker Firm, right? If you're not happy, who's in charge? Who's ahead of you that you can go to and really be like, hey, I don't feel good. Things aren't working out for me here.
Right.
Or go to your manager. Hey, I'm not happy. I think I'm about to go.
Right.
Help me.
Help me out.
Yeah.
And I think, too, it's difficult for people to ask for help. In that is humbling because I'm not happy and, I'm not motivated. And it's hard to see, it's hard to see that. But I think you're talking to the person that has burnout, but also talking to people that are in management, too.
Yeah.
Be self-aware about you put the most money into your people.
Yeah.
My husband sold a company and he's hired people smarter than you and put your money in your people because it'll come back twofold. But, I think I told you this right before we started. I had a coach tell me I was teaching right out of TCU, went teaching. I was 21 teaching 18, 19-year-old kids.
So hard.
It was so tough. And it was tough because, I look around and these people are my friends on Facebook now that I was teaching, and it was just a difficult age.
Yeah.
I didn't, and bless you teachers, there's just no words because it wasn't for me, but I went on to culinary school at that point and became a chef and did something different. And that was early in my life, but it's never too late. Right. It's never too late to leave a career.
It is never too late.
It's never.
And I think that's when you ask why people come to a coach, that's a good topic to come to a coach with. So if you are somebody suffering through burnout, let's say, that's a great find a life coach, motivational coach topic because we can sit down and break down everything that you're not happy about, right?
Right.
We go through this circle of life. What is going on in these realms of your life that may be affecting that are creating the burnout. Are you burned out at work because you're tired and emotionally drained from home, stuff going on at home? So you need to take a holistic view of what's going on when you're suffering with burnout. And that's something a coach, that's perfect for a coach to help walk you through, to help you give you actionable items that you can work on to move forward and try to conquer that.
Right. So in your practice, you are an accountability coach as well. So you coach them. And so let's say it's something like you and I love to work out. So that comes very natural to you and I.
Right.
Okay. So let's say it's a person that does not have the motivation to do that. How do you motivate that person, let's say, that is working on their health?
Right. Well, when you're asking, my biggest thing, it's so funny. It's like I had to step out of that nutrition realm because you start to get really frustrated with people. People are ready to heal themselves by themselves when they're ready. You can only tell them so much. You can do it. You can start tomorrow. You can do. They've got to get to a place where they are so ready to make a change. And I feel like people have to get so sick of themselves, so sick of yourself that you're ready to do it, because I can only say so much. It has got to start to come from an intrinsic place, or they're just going to be those same people. If you look at the trans-theoretical model of change, at the bottom, there's pre-contemplation, contemplation, and all these different things. It's like in the fitness realm. And in January, we loved it because all the people were coming in, right?
New sneakers.
But then what happens to everybody's mindset when that happens? That's a good time to get a coach and say, get out of your rut because that wasn't serving you. You've been complaining about your health forever. All you got to do is do the next right thing. It doesn't have to be a big diet. It doesn't have to be some sort of huge change. It's you want to wake up early in the morning. Say that's your new thing. I want to wake up at 6. All right. Set an alarm for 5:30, 5:45. If you get up at 5:50 and you did it and you just got up, I count that as a success.
Yes.
If you fall back asleep, that's okay. You know what? You made a tiny move into the right direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So for me, it's a tiny little bite. If you're going to go all paleo on Monday, that's for me never ends up being real successful and long term. I believe it. My dad has said it my whole life is moderation.
Yes.
But yes, it motivating people, you got to get to know them first, and you got to get to know their story, where they're coming from. It's just that, it's a complicated question when I feel like it's very one-on-one and personal to the person and what their motivation lies and how they got there.
Right. And have to know, I love what you just said about having to know your clients and having to know the people that you're working with, and really getting in and digging in if you care, because then a lot of people aren't going to let you in.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
that's a choice.
That's right. It's 100%. Then maybe I'm not the one for them.
You are hysterical. I just love you. I want to hang out with you all the time.
You're just scratching the surface.
I know. Okay, I'm going to ask you this. What is one thing? Okay, let's say this person can only listen to the time at 32:03. What is one thing that Ashley Baker told me today and told my audience today? What's one takeaway, the most important thing to you?
One of my most favorite things, and I've seen it. I saw it on the walls when I was teaching at Pine Street. Ultimately, and it encompasses all things, is that you are the creator of your own reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't blame anybody. It's nobody else's fault. Ultimately, you have you.
Yeah.
And you have access and the tools. There's no reason for you to not be able to be all and everything you could ever want to be, because you truly, everyone, I don't care what your circumstance is, has the ability and the capacity to go within and figure that out.
Right. It's true. You know what I say on the show? I have said it hundreds of times, probably 200 times now. We have one body. Yeah. You better take care of it.
Better damn sure.
And it's one mind, one body, because you don't get a second chance.
You sure don't.
Sometimes I wish, but you just don't. So just keep improving, right?
That's what we do.
Yeah. You are a joy.
You're a joy.
I adore you. I think you are so fabulous.
You are my so-called fabulous Tiffany.
So-called, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. How can we all find you if we need a motivational speaker, if we need a personal development
coach? It's really just email me at Ashley@abakercoach, or send me a message on Instagram at @ashbakercoach.
Yeah.
I love motivating. I'm looking forward to emceeing the 360 West conference coming up end of September. Look at the 360 West magazine event.
That is
the social
so
house. I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
A lot of wonderful women. It's a women's conference. So
It's so great.
Exciting stuff coming up.
So exciting to do that and to touch so many women's lives and men, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, well, I'm wishing you the best because, like you, myself, we all have little bumps.
We do.
Doesn't matter what age we are. We've got bumps and we can overcome them. So thank you so much for coming, beautiful. And everyone, thank you so much. Don't forget we're on YouTube. Go watch us. See what she's wearing today. It is fabulous. I just love it, people. And come back to see us and let us know what you're thinking. And you know what I always say every single week? Keep being fabulous.